Right. Oh, we are live. What's up, YouTube, Facebook, and X? Oh man, it's been a while since we did this. Let's hit the intro. What's up, my fellow YouTubers, my people on social media? What is going on? I guess it's Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock on the dot. When I set a scheduled time, I expect to be on time as usual. Uh, so I was just scrolling through the internet and I just saw a couple of clips that I wanted to check out. One is by Tim Pool, and he's talking about the social collapse on this new documentary that came out called The Birth Gap. And we got Myron debating feminists on the Tenet Media podcast. And we're probably going to react to a clip from Anton Daniels if I can find the clip. Oh, yeah, it's right here. So if you're watching on the replay, just hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't watched the channel yet. I am a martial artist. Occasionally I will do streams like this. I'm kind of rusty. And once again, I took off a month or so from streaming, and StreamYard has done some more updating. So that probably explains why they upgraded the price. So, and we don't have any write-offs, so we can't really write that off. So if I want to continue streaming, I'm gonna have to pay that big price that they have set. So, but let's I have to double check my audio because I have no one really in the chat to confirm the audio's good. So give me 1 second. And we are not in the algorithm because I am not even showing that it's going live. So it is what it is. We are live. It is what it is. Hell yeah. I'm my own biggest fan. This is amazing. So you guys have to forgive me. If you're watching on the replay, my energy is a little bit down because I can't even, my math is pretty good, but I don't even know how many hours I drove today. So let's just say I drove from, where was I? I drove from Maryland all the way through West Virginia, or no, Maryland, went through PA, then West Virginia, then came back to Ohio in Zanesville, and then I drove from there to Cleveland. So that's, I mean, I guess if you're good with geography, that's a lot of driving. And I just got back around noon. So I am starting my 34 hour, which is basically a 30 hour because I have to do 2 hours of driving to and from Zanesville. But that's a whole nother thing. But we're going to start reacting to this video, man, because I found it very interesting, and I've been studying this for a couple of years now. So I'm already aware that this is happening. The birth rate is low and it's declining every year. So we're going to go into it. Let's see here. We have to figure out how to use StreamYard again because they keep making changes, which is fine. I like upgrades. But the platform looks a little different. So we're going to have to navigate a little bit slower. But here we go.
A new documentary called Birth Gap highlights the problem that we are facing as a civilization. And there's a couple different ways to look at it. And one fact that I had not before previously understood, which is particularly interesting. It's not so much that people are having less kids. It sounds like everybody's having one kid instead of two. What's actually a component of this, maybe not the dominant component, is that there are people who still have 2 and 3 kids. You probably know them, conservatives, for instance, right? But many people are either choosing to be childless or through no fault of their own, just through social pressures and the system that we're facing, do not have kids. So again, I'll stress, well, the assumption from a lot of people is that when you say the birth rate is, 1.3 on average, and I think among Gen Z, it's like 0.3. The assumption is that there's a couple together and they have one kid maybe 2. Not actually what's at play. But hold on real quick. Before we go further, guys, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. There's a new show. It's the Tim Pool Show. Not always just news subjects, but social, culture, etc. Maybe some other silliness. We're planning vlogs and a bunch of other content that are just basically, look, I'll put it this way. YouTube gave me the @TimPool URL, and I said, let's make a channel where I can just talk about whatever I feel like talking about at the time. That's not so much news related like my other channels are. So again, subscribe now. Share the show.
I like to listen to Tim Pool once in a while, man, because he just doesn't seem. He'll talk to both sides, liberal and conservative. So like this is, I mean, I guess you got to have people like that that are able to bring two sides together and talk, debate, try to figure out what the confusion is with the issues with the culture or in the society that's that the problems that we face today. So we got to have people that center right, center left, what have you, to bring us all together, because a lot of people are just biased to one side, and that's fine. But we got to hear each other out. So
I can look at the videos. Look at this. 181,000 people watched this video, only 73,000 subscribers. Guys, let's go. Now I want to play some of this documentary.
That's wild, man. This guy, he just started that channel and I already got 7K. So this is what I've noticed about today's, the way that you grow your social media, or the way that you can grow an online brand. So this is across all content. It doesn't matter if you're in a sex work or you're just like doing a fitness business or anything. You got to have a following before you even start up a brand. So like for me, for instance, I don't have a big following. So when I started my fitness brand, it took me a while to get to where I'm at now. And I would venture to say that the people that started subscribing to my channel earlier during my journey on the way up are probably no longer even watching the channel. So you got to grow pretty fast online to grab the attention of your viewers. If you lose the attention of the viewers, it stops hitting the algo, it stops cycling through the recommended videos, and you just got a bunch of people sub to a bunch of channels that's not really hitting the algo. So if you have followers, then that means you can grow a channel pretty quick. So, but yeah.
Not the whole thing. It's like 2 hours long. I think it's 2 hours long. But I recommend you guys check it out on YouTube. It came out a month ago. It's called Birth Gap. And it's pretty good. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've been watching a bit of it. And it is terrifying. I want to play some clips. Let's roll. Don't get freaked out too much.
Disturbing trend is that the fertility rate falling below the replacement level. In other words, the workforce becomes too small to support the growing retiree segment. It's a very troubling trend. As you've said before, we've seen it in Japan, Italy, and elsewhere.
Who would have thought we'd open the show with a birth rate falling to the 32-year low?
Having started in Europe and Japan at the exact same time, this trend has spread relentlessly across the entire industrialized world and beyond. And this trend will have long-term consequences for us all. To understand the reality facing us, we need to convert fertility rates into societal half-lives. The time taken for births to half, then half again, and half again. We can visualize this by creating a societal half-life chart. A birth rate of 2.0 children per woman means that births would half every 800 years.
So there's a lot to break down. First, replacement is not 2 births per family. Replacement is actually like, 2.2 or 2.3? And the reason why, some might say 2.1. The reason why is that some babies die. Because we're not talking about hard math like on a computer screen where if you have 2 units that create 2 units, you're stable forever. If you add in standard attrition, general mortality from accidents, that is a downward trend. And that's basically what he's getting into right here. So you actually need to have a stable birth rate, a stable population, probably around 2.3 to accommodate for accidental deaths.
But only 1 notch lower at one point.
Disease, etc. You get the point.
9 children per woman. and that reduces to only 300 years.
Wow.
Another notch down to 1.8, and it's only 150 years. Move down to where most industrialized nations are today.
You also got to think of it as like money too. Like the more money that you have in the bank, say if you got $10,000 and you accumulate that with interest, let's just say 2%. It grows pretty slow until it hits about 100K, and then 2%, you get more from interest. So if you divide, so let's say, so I think the birth rate is declining pretty quickly, but once we get to a point where we have less to decline from, it will slow down pretty slower. But like Temple just said, we have to account for the accidents and the rate at which people die as well, because not everybody's going to live to be 80 years old. So
And births are going to halve every 50 to 60 years. For China these days, it's 40 years. While for South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, births are halving in the blink of an eye.
But I want to stress, let me get the hard number on this one, actually. So let's do this. What is the fertility rate of Gen Z? Because I think when we're talking about fertility rate, we're talking about older generations too. As he talks about the number of births halving, it's important to break down fertility rate is not the same for all generations. As of right now, it looks like the fertility rate for Gen Z, what are they estimating? Oh, that's incorrect. 0.1, 0.3? Wait, hold on. Let's see. It has declined by 3% as of 2023 in births per thousand. Projections and current trends, the oldest Gen Z women are on track for a completed fertility rate of 1.4 to 1.6, which is below the U.S. average of 1.6 and well under 2.1. So 2.1 is standard stable rate. I actually think it's substantially lower than this. Now, the one thing you got to consider, Gen Alpha, 42 million. Gen Z, about 78, 79 million. This means that we've already halved. It already happened. The birth rate slices in half. With a Gen Alpha at around 42 million, we are not going to be able to sustain our economy. You guys, I watched this.
that's crazy. So if we can't sustain an economy, that means less production, less jobs will be offered. And with the emergence of AI, that's going to make it even worse. So we're going to have less skilled people. So I would suggest that you guys in the workforce, if you're in high school, you might want to think about trades, because I don't think those are going anywhere. We're actually going to need you. We're going to need the blue collar workers more than anything. So
really great video on Gary, Indiana. I should have saved it. I didn't save it. Actually, maybe I did. Let's check to see if I saved this one. Gary, Indiana. I did a, I guess, urban exploration video. I don't think I saved this video. I saw it on X. I don't know if I retweeted it. And it talks about how the city was booming, and now it's completely collapsed. And I don't have it taped. It's actually terrifying what will happen to our country. But I don't see this as the apocalypse. The reality is that people of strong mind and merit are having children, and liberals are not. So this is, I don't know if this documentary is going to get into the political bifurcation here, but let's play more.
yeah, liberals are just taught a completely different thing when it comes to the family structure. Like everything that liberals are taught is almost toxic to the family unit. So the fact that they tell women to not focus on family and children, or marriage and children, in their early 20s is very damning. They tell them to go get their careers, make sure you live your life first. Like women have to preserve their value in order to create a strong foundation for a family. So the fact that they're told to go live their lives first, and then find a husband and create children in their 30s is almost what's depleting the birth rate as well. So
The collapse of South Korea's birth rates happened inside a single generation. And with the entire industrialized world now seemingly trapped in this curve to nowhere, this trend was not going to stop here. And the data told me the next victim would be Latin America.
Wow. 1.5 children per woman is the estimate in Brazil.
That's really bad because you got to think, if you're a man and a woman getting together, that's already two people. That's two people. So you got to replace, because when you die, you got to replace the world with at least three children. Um, at least, because you're assuming that they're going to live a long qualitative life. So and if they're only reproducing at 1.5, that's not good. If you multiply that in a span of 50 years, where do you think we'll end up?
The main point I want to get at with all of this, I'll play a little bit more. I don't really care to go into the individual states, and what I'm really interested in is more so the global effects of this. So we'll jump forward, but understand that it's political. Muslims are not falling behind. Well, they are falling behind, but they're having more kids than secular liberals.
My assumption had been that countries with low fertility rates would have many families with only one child, and that assumption was held by other people too.
The reason Japan's population is declining, of course, is people are choosing to have smaller families.
But why could I not find these smaller families with only one child? Something wasn't right.
Interesting.
One of the golden rules of data science is to use the most granular data possible to understand trends. What I needed was an annual measure of childlessness, but it simply didn't exist. The aha moment came when I saw the UN collects data on the number of first-time mothers and the children they then go on to have for many countries. Matching this data with total fertility rate data allowed me to calculate the missing piece in our giant population puzzle. The results connected everything. In Japan in 1974, around half of women were having 2 children, just over 1 in 5 was having 3, a similar number was having 1, and 6% were having 4 or more.
Wow.
Overall, the average Japanese mother was having 2.2 children, and with only 1 person in 20 remaining childless, the overall fertility rate for Japan was 2.1 children per woman. But somehow, over the next 3 short years, childlessness exploded to reach 1 person in 4. Yet the percentage of mothers having 1, 2, 3, or 4 or more children hadn't changed at all. This wasn't a shift to smaller families. This was simply an explosion in childlessness.
And that is the key takeaway, which I actually hadn't considered. It seems kind of obvious, but for the most part, I just assumed that everyone was having this general decline or decrease in the amount of kids they were having. But as it turns out, it's an explosion of childlessness relative to each other. The percent of families that have 1, 2, 3, or 4 kids remained the same in Japan, meaning, once again, there is a core group of individuals that have kids at the same rate, but for some reason, a large explosion in women who just don't have any children at all, which brings fertility down, which is still kind of scary as it pertains to the global economy. However, you know what this means? Course correction. It means that this new generation of women who don't have kids will simply be a flash in the pan in the generational map, a blip of static and noise. As we look at the population growth and see this giant spike and it goes down, it will just be a blink. The light flickers and shuts out. These women existed and then they didn't exist. And the rest of us continue. What that means economically is we're going to have a lot of abandoned places, probably.
Yeah, as a truck driver, you see that. I see abandoned places all over the place, especially in the lower impoverished areas. So it's happening, and people are just oblivious to it, and or either that or they just don't care.
Look forward to 1990, and childlessness in Japan had reached 1 in 3 women, and yet the average children per mother had increased slightly to 2.3. Wow. Since 1990, this pattern has been locked.
So for anybody's information, I innately wanted to have children, wanted to get married and everything because I did that in my mid-20s. So um, I just learned a couple of things when things just didn't work out the way that I wanted to. So I'm actually an advocate for family and marriage and stuff, having kids, but a little bit has changed. I feel like you need to, as a man, you really have to develop, and it takes a while for a man to develop in a way that he can be, valuable to his family and kids. But in the same token, that women aren't even choosing these men that are actually loving up. They're choosing men that they're most attracted to. So that kind of leaves a lot of men in the dating pool just like hitting their stride in their late to mid 20s or late to mid 30s, late 20s to mid 30s. And these guys are just like grinding. So they're pretty much invisible to the dating pool, either because they're working a lot or because they're just not attractive enough for women to choose to have a family with. So um, I don't, first of all, obviously it's going to start with the men. The men have to level up as per usual. I hate saying that because we already know that. Men know that, but a lot of men just choose not to. Um, and the women are rewarding the men that they find most attractive. Like if a man gets rejected, he either quits or he just improves. For the men that improve, the reason they improve is because they get rejected. Now, if the women are getting with the men that do not see that much rejection, they're not going to improve. So that relationship's going to fall apart because men who don't improve really can't sustain a long-term relationship. So you have to keep getting better, and you have to learn relationship skills. A lot of people don't know how to be in a relationship. Men are taught how to treat women, but they're not taught what to expect from women, while women are not taught how to respect men, but they're taught what to expect from men. So it's kind of like there's a big confusion here.
In Japan, with almost no change to family structure or the 1 in 3 remaining childless. Even the proportion of mothers having 4 or more children has remained at 6%, exactly the same as 1974. Changes in demographics tend to happen slowly, but in Japan in the summer of 1974, something startling happened.
Uh-oh. Do you know where he's going with this one?
Until 1973, the country was booming and the number of babies was booming. There was a new concept around, the concept of the modern apartment with kitchens, flushing toilets, and entertainment space. Apartment complexes were springing up all across Japan, and with no end in sight to the country's economic renewal, this young generation had little to worry about. But the mood was about to change. In October 1973, the global oil shock sent the country into a frenzy, and the young generation that was just settling into their new modern lifestyle suddenly had to confront sharp price rises in food and commodities and shortages of the basics.
Man, everybody's saying that. So we always hear often like people don't have kids because they're expensive, but like who's having all the kids? The poor people are having all the kids, and they can't really afford to even barely eat. They have to ask for money from the government. So I think so I used to think that we need to get rid of government aid, but at the same time, that's nobody's incentive. Like money isn't really people's incentive to have children. So I don't even think that would work. People would still make kids even if they couldn't even afford it. The problem is they would either, if there was no government aid, they would have to give up the kid for adoption, and that would cause, man, we'd be a freaking cucked out country, or wherever they actually would start doing that. Like everybody would be raising kids that weren't even their own. So that would be a big problem. So a lot of people that say they want to abolish welfare and food stamps and all that, like you got to really understand human nature. What would happen if we done that? So we still have to incentivize uh, people to have families. It sounds crazy to say that because having children is supposed to be an innate evolution. It's supposed we're evolved to procreate. So it's weird that we have to incentivize people to have children.
And the data shows precisely 9 months later, across every prefecture in Japan, the number of first-time mothers plummeted and would never recover. Childlessness for 1/3 of Japanese women became the societal norm.
And I wonder if he just doesn't want to talk about it, but I pulled it up. It's called the post-1975 M-curve comeback. 1975, female participation rates in the workforce in Japan started to climb. From 1975 to 1995, women in the labor force increased by 10 points to 49.1. In 1986, Equal Employment Opportunity Law removed legal barriers, and since then, it has continued to increase. Now, see, from the 1880s to the 1910s, women did work, but it was largely farms. They started getting into factories during the Industrial Revolution for textiles. From in the World War, women would hold jobs in industry for war mobilization, but that's true for most places. From 1975 today, married women, 54.8% overall working. So, I mean, we kind of get it, don't we?
Yeah, if women are working, they're not at home with the kids. And if they're working, they're not really focused on having kids. So um, there's another problem with that as well.
Japan was hit hard by the oil shock. It was the world's largest importer of oil at the time. And across the entire country, many young people decided it wasn't the time to become parents.
Incorrect. Incorrect. I challenge the assertion, good sir. It's a great documentary, by the way. But I challenge this assertion, and we'll skip ahead, and we'll show some of this data here, because the data is really the most interesting point. What I challenge is that having children is not a function of resources. It is ridiculous to say they didn't have oil, so they couldn't have kids. Bro, there were people having kids when they didn't even have houses. Okay, they lived in straw huts and they still had kids. The issue is social function. And so as more and more women enter the workforce and go to school, and more social institutions create barriers between men and women, this is what you'll get. I actually think a large component is men are driven by goals, and women were driven by goals as well, which was family. In order for a woman to be socially acceptable and to fit in, you had to talk about your kids and what your kids were doing. Then they said women are going to be CEOs.
It's funny that he says that because men are the same way. Like he was right about like we do focus on our goals, but like once we have a child, like especially a son, like we kind of want to watch our sons grow up to accomplish things. And this is why I really believed in having children younger, because I wanted to watch my son grow up. I wanted to watch him get married. I wanted to see my grandchildren grow up. So, I mean, you can't like I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you can have like as a man, you can have children in your 50s and 60s," but like why would I want to do that? I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see them accomplish. I want to see what my legacy what I left behind, which is my kids. I want to make sure that they are good. So, um yeah, that like if I had children, that would be an accomplishment, just having children and being able to teach them to be stronger men than I was, be strong men just like me. So,
And now women are competing to be men. They want to be the boss. Here's more data. Let's see what we got going on here. United States. This one will get interesting. I'm going to jump back a little bit.
Before the crisis, the average mother in the US was having 2.5 children, and only 1 in 7 people were childless. Yet, just like other financial crises around the world, within a few short years, childlessness would rocket to reach 1 in 3 people.
I do agree economic factors play a role. I'm not discounting that. I certainly believe that the financial crisis in the United States, people were supposed to have kids. So I was 22 and sleeping on floors. There's no possible reality.
That's funny. When I was 22. Yeah, I think 22 is when I first got my apartment, my first apartment. And that's exactly what I did. I slept on the floor. My first apartment costed me $450 for a single bedroom. Like, I don't know. You can't even find that these days. That's crazy.
Could have had a kid. I didn't have a place to live. I couldn't find a job that paid enough money. And so I'm an urban guy. So I do agree. I don't want to discount that argument, but I simply believe that should women have been told that the most important thing in their lives is to be a mother and for men to be a father, this would not have happened in such a pronounced way. I don't think that finance and the economy was the principal reason why I didn't have a family. I believe it was entirely social. What I was told to be doing, what I was encouraged to do, and what women were encouraged to at the same time.
And yet, during the same time, the average number of children per mother in the US increased from 2.5 to 2.6.
Interesting.
The 2007 financial meltdown was a
All right, so I'm gonna cut it there, man. So go to where are we at? I think this is like his third channel. So I'm on the Tim Pool show. I'm gonna sub to the channel and like the video because I like to support creators, especially if I know I'm coming back. So it's called the Tim Pool Show. Go check that out. I'm not gonna react to the entire thing, so I'm gonna watch the rest of it later. And I'm going to go to the next video that I'm going to react to. I guess we can go. I guess we can go to this one. This is going to be funny. Hold on. This is going to trigger a lot of people.
You women, Byron. But
are you married?
It doesn't matter if I'm married. No, because you guys are all. Shut up, dude.
No. A 40-year-old woman that's saying she's high value. That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
Oh, you know what?
40 years old and two.
Sorry.
Holy. The reason why guys have a vested interest in a woman not being a is because if she's not, we know the child's ours.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
girls can
self-defense
say the
mechanism.
same thing in reverse, where they don't want a guy with a lot of sexual partners because that's going to divert his resources away from her. So you can make the Evo Psych argument. Outside this red pill world, most guys find it weird if a girl at my age is a virgin. Like, I lost it at 26.
I find it interesting that you mentioned, oh, I was a virgin. Why did you lead with that? Because you understand that your value as a partner is intrinsically tied to your body count.
Yeah.
That's why you mentioned it.
I wanted to rehash back to the dating topic because I thought that's what we're supposed to be talking about today.
That's what I thought, dude.
I talk with a lot of young people, and I know one of their biggest concerns while dating somebody is their body count. Can we go down the line and say how many bodies is 2 bodies for me to want to date the opposite sex? Or
I feel
whoever my
like when
partner
you
is,
get
it
over
could
a
be
certain
something.
age, it doesn't matter because that's what you think about.
Okay, so no cap.
I'm almost 40 years old. If you're worried about how many people your partner slept with, you're insecure.
No cap.
No, if you're a man and you know your girl has been around, and you don't want to date her, you don't want to consider her for a long-term relationship. That's not insecurity. That's just knowing his boundaries and understanding that he can't take her serious because he can't trust her based on her past. So it's not insecurity. It's just being aware of female nature.
Yeah,
The production team's gonna have a lot of
I don't
bleeping
really
to do.
care how many people somebody has slept with. What I care about is, what's inside and how they treat me.
Yeah.
So I mean,
realistically, if your partner or somebody who you were interested in slept with, ridiculous.
obviously, if somebody slept with 1,000 guys, I'd have a lot of questions for her.
Okay.
That would be a little.
What does it
But
feel
you'd
like?
still be open
But
to
for the
pursuing.
most part, in a general term, if I met somebody that went through times in her life, like the female version of Wilt Chamberlain, for example,
Oh.
I don't know if that's the exact same thing.
but obviously I would have questions. But what I'm trying to say is it's not the end all be all for me.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think for me, it's about inconsistency. So, like I said, the guy I'm with right now, he was my first body, but up until then, I'd meet a lot of guys who would fetishize that I'm a virgin. I think it's
So she keeps saying that the guy she's with is her first body, which is probably a lie because she keeps saying it. So the more that she continues to say that, the more likely it's not true. So they try to convince you that they want to keep saying it over and over. So that's the only thing they focus on. So it's usually not true.
All right.
Okay. And for me, if a guy has a
It
super
doesn't
high body
matter.
count, but they want a girl who's
Promise
a
it
virgin or has a
doesn't.
low body count, for me, that's a bigger red flag than just a guy who has a high body count.
Sure. Tim?
Wait, why is that a red flag? Why do I want to be with a girl that's a
Because I think
That's
if
a
you're,
red flag.
I think if your reason, I think a valid reason for wanting someone with a low body count is pair bonding, and that applies for both sexes. So if both of them have a higher body count or one of them does, that's going to disaffect.
We got to stop using the phrase pair bonding. Let's just call it marital satisfaction. So the more people that you engage in sexual companionship with, the less likely you are to be satisfied with the person that you are with. So if a woman has, like, 20, 25, 30 sexual partners, the less likely she's going to be happy with the next person. So because she just kind of just rejiggered her natural state to find the best person that she could find to start a family with. So she's basically just going to keep sleeping around until she dies. So
Pair bonding. So I would say that guy doesn't have a valid reason.
Pair bonding, that's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, that is.
They don't have to believe in it,
Dumbest.
but I'm just saying if that's his belief, like he's a Christian or he's religious, and so he also keeps a low body count, then for me that's a more valid request or standard.
I am so glad I don't live in your guys' universe. My wife and I have known each other for over 20 years,
Yeah.
and
Wait.
this never was a thing.
Tim, you don't watch any porn.
How
Come on.
long have you been in your wife been
It's a
together
weird
for?
question.
So we've known each other about 20 years. We dated around the time we first met, and then we had kind of like a millennial on-off thing for the whole time. And then
So this is it's even a weird concept, I think, because for me, like, who gives a fuck? I don't even, I'm almost 40 years old. You know what I mean? I'm a high value woman, Byron, but it doesn't.
Are you-
he's I knew Myron was gonna laugh. Yo, oh my God, there's no such thing as a high value woman. Like, because you guys are women are supposed to preserve their value. So like an 18-year-old girl has more value than an 18-year-old man, because the man hasn't even started to accomplish anything yet. He doesn't have any skills yet. So he's got to build his value over time, while women have to preserve their value, because what is their value? It's basically their sexual agency and their ability to procreate. So the younger you are as a woman, the more fertile you are. So I mean, I guess they don't want to acknowledge this because they just want to have fun in their 20s and then find somebody to have a family with. But at that time, like, you've kind of like skipped over your most fertile year. So I mean, there's studies done that, like, the later you have children, the more jacked up your children can become. So, or you can have a high risk pregnancy. So I don't understand why they aren't taught this, and unless they're just not pushed to know this. But it's what it is.
Married?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm married. No, because you guys are all. Shut up, dude.
No.
You're
No.
me. Shut up.
No, you're
No one's. Shut up, dude.
a
Shut-
40-year-old woman
Oh,
that's saying she's
yeah.
high value.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
It's crazy because she has, I mean, obviously her attitude is shit, but she has a nice looking face. If she were to lose about 30 to 40 pounds, she would actually look like a model, because she has a good hairline, she has good hair, she has good facial structure, very symmetric. But like, this is the problem, man. Like, most people like would be attractive if they actually lost the weight.
You know what? dude?
40 years old and two.
Sorry,
Holy.
I don't listen to the way that Muslims think about anything. So shut up.
You need the guidance.
No, I think you need the guidance.
You need to stop eating pigs.
I'm on her
You eat too
side.
much- You clearly eat too much ham.
Wait. Was there,
You eat
was
way
there-
too
there
much
was a
ham.
question for me or something?
A question? No.
No, you're saying.
Uh,
No, but we
Stein,
were talking
body
about.
I would not be with a girl if she's
I'm
banging.
just
This is the funny part, because what Myron is doing is basically fat shaming. The problem is he's fat shaming a 40-year-old. If she was 20, she would probably get in the gym. Like, she would actually take that in consideration. Right now, she's in her feelings, but like, if she were 20, she would definitely lose the weight. But at 40, she's already stuck in her ways. She thinks she's top shit. She's probably still getting attention from men. So, women that get attention from men don't feel the need that they have to improve. So it's the opposite with men. When most men do not get attention from the opposite sex. So they automatically either shut down, they stay in their basement, or they improve because they have to. So
If it's If it's more than two hands.
All right, let me take this. Let me.
Seriously, I mean, yeah.
More than 2 bodies is no good for you?
No, more than 10. Like, if it
Now,
double,
here's the
there's
thing.
no
Like,
way.
this is a personal thing with each guy, right? So they all have their number, and that's fine. But what I will say is that most guys are going to have problems with women that have a very promiscuous past. That's just the reality. It's a biological reality.
No, it's not.
So,
what about men? How about women
No,
that have a
it's
problem with
not.
men? It could go both.
She doesn't even know. She hasn't done any kind of research. Obviously, she doesn't understand evil psychology. I guess most people don't really know. So once you you can't tell people like stats and data without telling them how to feel about it. So he's basically just listing off a bunch of stats and stuff, biological realities of the world, and she has no idea how to react to that except just shame him for saying this stuff out loud. So
both ways,
You know, it's not. And
Well,
here's
they
the
don't
problem.
because we asked them to, and
no.
they said that it was uncapped, right? So
some women don't want to be with men that
There
are.
is double standard though, where a guy that has a lot of sex is valuable, and a woman
a
that has
man
a lot
that
of
can
sex.
have a lot of
Key
sex.
analogy,
Here's the
Byron.
thing.
Oh, that's called
A man, the analogy is, a key that opens many locks is a master key versus a lock that opens any key is a shitty lock. But the reality is that if a man has a lot of sexual partners, he's doing something right because it's not easy for men to get sexual access. But if a woman,
I don't know about that. I mean, he's right in the sense that if men are visibly attractive to most women, yes. But if he's just going around having sex with a bunch of women, that kind of steers a lot of women away. I would say the less they know, the better. But as long as they know that he's getting women, that he's attractive to women, I should say, then that is an attraction trigger for most women. So
hold on, let me finish. But if a woman has a lot of sexual partners, she's definitely doing something wrong because the reality is men must create their value to get sexual access.
He is not wrong about that. I broke up with my first girlfriend because I was just told that she got around, and that is I mean, I was very young and I didn't even know this concept, but it was just an innate feeling. So I just, you just don't.
Versus women need to preserve their value because as soon as they turn 18, they can get any guy that they want. And so if they go ahead and gamble it away and spend their, youth and time being it's going to hurt them later on. That's literally the basis as to why we were talking about before her OnlyFans shit is going to. Despite the fact that she's saying I'm a virgin or whatever, the fact that she does sex work in general does inherently lower her value because men look for purity. It's one of the most important things we look for when looking for a mate.
Yeah,
now, if you guys don't want to understand biology, that's the reality.
Yeah.
Yes, it's because
there are rich, ugly guys.
And the reason why you just mentioned a child, that's the primary reason. We must ensure paternity. And before the advent of paternity tests, we had to kind of take the woman's word. So the reason why guys have a vested interest in a woman not being a is because if she's not, we know the child's ours.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
girls can
self-defense
say the
mechanism.
same thing in reverse, where they don't want a guy with a lot of sexual partners because that's going to divert his resources away from her. So you can make the Evo Psych argument in reverse. And, yeah.
Oh, because
was your boyfriend a virgin?
I'm not talking about his sexual history. I'm not going to talk about his sexual history, but I will say prior to him,
a lot of chicks, hasn't he?
all my exes before him were Christian conservatives. They all kept low body counts. A lot of them were also valuing waiting till marriage.
Okay, here's
so I
the
will say that. So I'm just saying it's fine to have that standard. I'm just saying
it is a double standard. That's the way it should be.
I'm saying
Men
girls
live life
don't
on hard
actually
mode,
want
women live life on
promiscuous
easy
guys.
mode.
Girls
This
just
is why.
Okay, can I finish?
Women literally
Girls
live life
don't
on
want
easy
guys.
mode when it comes to sexual access. I find it interesting that you mentioned, "Oh, I was a virgin." Why did you lead with that? Because you understand that your value as a partner is intrinsically tied to your body count.
Yeah.
That's why you mentioned it.
No,
Now,
because you brought up my boyfriend being and I'm saying the definition of someone who watches their girlfriend get other men. They're saying by your definition, he's obviously not a. He's one of my V cards, you dumbass. That's not why I led with it.
Hold on.
Second of all,
hold on.
Women do often care about a guy's promiscuity. Women do care about guys' promiscuity. They suck it up most of the time. Because like the reason I said you can make the Evo Psych argument in both ways.
Your body count mattered way more to him than his body count matters to you. Because women understand, hey, guys are going to have a body count. It is what it is. If anything, men with higher body counts tend to be attractive because they have social proof, they demonstrate higher value, and they're able to be attractive to other women. Versus on your totem pole, you care more about his status, how he looks, what he does. He's caring about, okay, is this chick a virgin? You literally said,
no.
I gave him my virginity. What does that imply?
It's funny because outside this red pill world, most guys find it they find it weird if a girl at my age is a virgin. Like I lost it at 26. Outside of the red pill.
Yo, I hate when people say red pill world. Like people that just use red pill in the wrong context, like they don't understand what RP is. So I've already explained it 1,000 times on this channel. If you don't know what it is, man, you need to do some real research.
And like 50+ bodies that a lot of like men
I
are
guess my
struggling to
point
find
is like
women who
most
that-
guys
And
I
you
speak
value
to,
your
They'll find it weird, but they
it's not
won't.
about virginity
They'll
in
find
terms
it
of
weird, but they're
chastity.
not
It's
going to
about
leave
not
the
wanting
girl
to
for
just
it.
get pressured
First of
into
all-
sexual experiences just because society says you have to, just because they're like, oh well, you're an OnlyFans, so you might as well let it go. I don't subscribe to that. I can
Is
do
there,
it if I want to.
is there an amount of money you could make that would retire you from your sex work?
If so, I've already made it. So no, I'm
Can
going
I
to
ask
keep
you a
going for a
question,
while.
sir? I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Alad.
Would you rather be Alad?
All right,
Shout out to the boys.
Did he say Benjamin Netanyahu? I didn't hear what he just said.
Alad Eliyahu.
Would you rather be with a woman who treats you like shit, who doesn't do anything for you, who's terrible in bed, but has only been with 1 or 2 men in her life? Or would you rather be with someone who has been with 1,000 men, but treats you fantastic, respects you, doesn't cheat on you, and is a loving person? Or what would you rather have? Answer that question.
A loving person.
like,
That's not
frankly,
even
neither.
a good comparison.
Let him
That's-
answer.
It's
Let him answer.
I would say neither. I'd say neither.
Okay, so you can't
you say
choose
both?
between the two? You're telling me you'd rather have somebody that treats you like shit, maybe, than someone
All
who
right,
slept
so
with?
let me take this. See, here's the thing. I would take the girl that's 1 or 2 bodies, and I'll tell you why.
That treats you like crap.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
As a man, your job. Let me explain. As a man, your job is to turn your woman into basically your follower. She's your assistant. Your job is to make her be useful
That's
to
the way
you.
a misogynist
You're gonna
thinks.
come in and train her. Okay, so
misogyny.
let me ask. It's misogyny.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain
It
to
is.
me, why do women want a guy that's taller, makes more money,
Not
has
every
more
woman wants
status,
that.
dominant,
No,
assertive?
and in fact, a lot of them don't.
The majority
No,
of
they
women
don't.
overwhelmingly
majority
look
do.
for
They
status.
They want a short broke guy. That's what they look for in a
Like
way.
the majority of women.
Myron, you're tall, you're
overwhelmingly-
single.
Hold on. The overwhelming majority of women wants a guy that's taller, stronger,
You don't
more
speak for
competent,
women, dude.
and is a leader.
Oh, wait.
That's the
Hold on.
truth. It's
That's
biology.
a fact. We're not.
That's a fact.
No, it's really
It's a
not.
fact. It's a literal fact.
Every woman has
It's not a
different-
fact for you because you're old now. But the
Yeah.
reality is, you don't have the same ability to command a higher status guy. That's why you got to
Right.
call yourself
Oh,
a high
yeah,
value
you're
woman.
right.
Well, just,
So,
to be fair,
a high value
there's-
woman is a woman that can get a
Right.
high value guy to lock her in and take his last name.
Right.
So ridiculous.
Women
You
get
guys
their
don't
value
really believe
from the
this
men
shit,
that they're
do you?
with. Men get their value based on what they provide to society. We are not the same, okay?
Right.
Men are evaluated completely differently than women are.
Ladies and
Don't let
gentlemen,
these over
Myron is
here.
so popular.
It's crazy because what Myron is explaining is how women actually move, but they can't really like there's certain things that women can do that when you put it into words they don't agree with, but they do it anyway. So this is kind of why it's more like it kind of proves the statement believe what women do, not what they say, because they usually do the things that men understand what they do. So why they do it. So women can't really explain it, but some women can because they know. So they're not afraid to not acknowledge these biological facts.
Try to
on
change her
social
mind.
media. He
Yes,
says
because
the
I
most
tell the
ridiculous-
truth.
No,
This
you
is
don't. No, you don't.
Elizabeth.
This is
Elizabeth, where's Elizabeth? Is Elizabeth here?
Misogynist.
we got
Everybody got
fucking misogynist. You guys want to be a
White House supporter.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Hold on one second. Hold on.
You stop listening to Muslim
reason.
ideologies.
Hold
That's
on,
exactly where you're
Yeah.
There's
coming
a reason.
There's the Sharia
There's a
law.
reason.
Yeah, Sharia law is
There-
exactly
there-
what it is,
Yeah.
dude.
You-
Women only want
you
tall
need a
guys
diet
with
law.
money.
Anyway,
Oh, shut up,
there's
dude.
a reason.
Fucking hairpiece.
There's a
If you go on dating apps, most women they list their preferences to 6 feet and above. So I mean, there's something to be said there.
reason guys like me and Andrew Tate,
right.
et cetera,
Yeah,
blew up,
right.
because we're saying what all men are thinking.
Oh, right.
We don't want annoying,
Yeah.
crass women
Right.
like
From the
this
single guy.
trying to tell us what it is.
Right.
We know what we're attracted to, and these on the left try to tell you guys,
Right.
no, you should want a woman that's
Right,
you
listen
should
to
want a
him.
girl.
Never said that.
You should want a
Never
girl.
said that.
Like,
Never
no,
said
thank
that.
you. We don't
Never
want
said that.
All right, we got
Apparently
someone.
women don't
We don't
want
want
you.
that.
You're
We got-
single.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, we got someone up here. Who
All
it
right,
is?
Elizabeth, you
Yeah.
asked a question, but give us your opinion on the question.
So I will say this, one of the biggest problems we have in our society right now is testosterone.
Right.
Yes.
That
Encourage the men in here. If you
It
have
is,
not
yeah.
had your testosterone levels checked, you should.
Yeah, Myra.
And the problem is that as women, as men are
You're a
losing
circle.
testosterone.
You're literally a circle.
Come on. Hold on.
No, Myron,
What?
you
Afterwards,
know I
Myra,
love
we
you,
can, dude.
and I support everything you say and do. I'm.
So you believe women are second-class citizens?
Let her finish.
Yeah, my problem
Okay,
is
well,
is
that's
that
absurd.
men are not stepping up. Their testosterone levels are low. Like Brian.
All right, come on down. Come on down here real quick.
I have,
Come up. Come on, no, walk up here. You come on.
No,
Like,
this way.
Listen to the words I'm saying. Walk up here. God, it's like
She said, did she say my testosterone levels were low?
She did.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be happy to
Sorry
tell
to
you that
say
I
that.
actually saw a doctor 6 months ago, and I had some blood work done, and they were actually too high. Did
And
you
you
know
found out
that
you're
bald
gay.
men have an
The
average?
fact that you feel
Tim
like
knows a
you
little bit
have
about
to
that.
justify yourself
Tim
tells
knows a
me
little
you
bit
have a
about that.
testosterone problem.
More testosterone, yeah.
Okay.
What, do I have low testosterone because I don't think people like you are
No,
second-class
because
citizens?
all of us
like this
had to
bigot
be
fool over here.
Subject to you hitting on Myron this whole
That's
time.
what it
It's
is.
really
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's weird. That's what it is.
It's weird.
Boom
Really
roasted.
That's what it is.
He's
Yeah, you're
actually harassed by this leprechaun.
Yeah. That's what it is. I'm hitting a bigoted fool. Like
But Brian, does
Great
that make
point.
your
That's
brain-
why I have low testosterone.
Bro, it's
Great
literally
point.
the Lucky Charms for
Great
real.
point.
But Brian,
I
can you
have more luck with
comprehend
women
that?
than you do, apparently.
But real quick, Brian, is it really that hard for you to comprehend that she has this opinion as a woman? I mean,
As a woman, to make an assumption about somebody
It's
because
not an
hold on, let me
assumption.
finish. Let me finish. Let me
Let her
finish.
answer. Let her answer.
It's not
As
an
a
assumption.
woman, excuse me, you're not a doctor. You have no medical degree, so be quiet and let me finish.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Now he sounds like Myron.
Maybe this is making you
Myron,
feel like a
Myron,
man.
finish.
That's okay.
For you to
Anything
hold
you
on,
need
stop.
to feel like a
Be quiet
man.
and let me finish.
You got to say
Okay?
men are speaking
Please.
now.
For you to make an assumption about somebody, whether it be anything.
I was talking
can
in
I just
general. You
talk
took
for
it
5
personally.
seconds without
I just said you were being.
have, I'll be honest, you might have a lot more
That's
testosterone.
no
Myron's like a total
assumption. You
idiot.
were being.
I agree. You have a lot of testosterone. But anyway, let me just
Let him
make.
finish,
Can I
let him
talk for
finish.
5 seconds without being interrupted
Yes.
by? You
Go
look like
right
a,
ahead.
By the
sir.
way, what is up with that? Forget it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, listen.
Oh, here we go.
For you to make an assumption about somebody and their testosterone because you might not like a
Did I say,
political
Brian,
opinion.
you have a testosterone
Yes,
problem?
you said it right over there.
I said
You said I have low
I said
testosterone.
we
Now,
have a
that's fine. You can
testosterone
think that if you
problem
like.
in this country.
Oh, you also mentioned my name and you
No,
said I
I
love-
said you were being.
No. Okay. You said I love. So what is your definition of being?
You were hitting on Myron nonstop.
Okay.
I
So
feel very uncomfortable. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me be very clear on that.
Can you blame him?
I don't have a fetish for bigots or grifters. Okay.
that's why you dated
So,
MAGA. That's why you dated MAGA girl.
Number two, for you to assert that I am actually defending women and that I think they should be equal to men and they have the intellect to not.
You're
excuse
doing
me,
it
I'm
out
not
of
done yet.
emotion.
To be in the kitchen like Myron thinks, instead of having a job and having a career and being able to live their life they lives, if you think that women are a second-class citizen, then you're a and I want you deported to Gaza.
Ooh, why
And that's a
Gaza?
better opinion.
Wait, why
That's a better
Gaza? So she
opinion,
can get
right?
blown
I'm
up
supposed to
by
feel
Israel?
That's a better opinion.
It's a very thing to say.
I may not agree.
Really in a
So-
bar?
Really, I hit a nerve.
Here's the thing. Here's the
Little
thing.
emotional.
Let me be clear here. When we're talking
Here
about
comes the misogynist.
when
Here
we're
we go.
talking about women as human beings, we're not saying that they're lower from a human being.
You said
standpoint. If
second-class
anything,
citizen.
As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, I would say women are very important because they carry on the next lineage of children. So we must
Yeah.
protect them. However, when it comes to the confinements of a relationship, men and women are absolutely not equal. And she understands this because she has a long-term relationship and it's
Equal
successful.
as how?
Because she understands
Mentally or
that her
physically?
man is a leader.
How are they
and
not
she
equal?
follows-
Physically, mentally? What?
Let me
Be
explain.
specific.
All the parameters that women look for in a man, typically based off the guy having higher status and higher strength, income, capacity, everything than her. Women don't seek their equals when it comes to a relationship.
You
This
make
egalitarianism that you're talking about.
you make
False.
assumptions
Well,
how
I
every
think
woman
fair
in
would
society
agree.
thinks.
Women.
It's
I have a-
ridiculous.
Overwhelming
Wait,
majority of women want a guy that's 6 foot plus,
Yeah.
100,000 plus per year. Strong,
Okay, wait.
Smart,
Not
guys.
every woman is
Okay, guys,
materialistic.
I got a question for Myron and for Brian. Why do you think it is that there has never been a female chess world champion?
Well, I mean, there's also never been a female president. There's a lot of things.
Thank God.
Hold on there, gosh darn minute. I asked you about chess,
Man, I love chess, man.
which any woman could enter the competition, and there's never been a world champ.
Sure. So I'll be the first one to admit I'm not a chess player. I don't know anything about chess. I would
Brain
imagine
game.
it's a
Doesn't surprise me.
I would imagine it's a brain game. Say, Tim, you could relate to this. You're a poker player. You would admit that, poker's a mental game, right?
Women never raise; they always call.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, you've never played against Annie Duke like I have. But anyway,
Yeah, that's one woman.
All right,
Anyway,
hold on. So there are a lot of great female poker.
You know what? There is a. I just had to look it up real quick because I didn't know the title, but the Queen's Gambit is a chess. I might have to watch that to see because I like chess. So it's on Netflix. It's called the Queen's Gambit, and I like this actress. I forgot what her name was. But she plays in The Gorge. That was one of my favorite movies that she played in too. It's crazy. But yeah, we're gonna have to check that out when we have time. We rarely have time now.
Of course.
Yes.
Now, a woman has never won the main event. So here's the reason, in my opinion. There's a much smaller percentage of professional chess players and poker players than there are males. So I think you have to look at the percentage of it and say to yourself, if you have 300 female poker players and 8,000 male players in the World Series of Poker, the chances of a woman winning
I understand.
are far less.
Agreed. Now, the question then becomes, why won't women play chess?
Well, I don't speak for all women like apparently Myron does, but I will tell you that I don't know a lot about chess. I know that poker's also a mind game, and there's plenty of women that play poker. Maybe not as much as men.
Let me just say this: in most of these sporting events, or even strategy, it's like that's
a physical thing. That's different.
But so in poker, chess, and all things similar, even if we're talking about Pokemon or whatever,
right.
The proportion of women who play is substantially lower, and it's comparable across the board in every one of these fields.
Yeah, I think that's
why
probably
is
fair.
that?
Well, first of all, I'm not one of those lefty people that thinks that WNBA players should be getting paid as much as men. That's absurd. I also have always said this. I said this on your show. I've said this on plenty of other shows. I do not believe that women should be in women's sports. I know I'm kind of expanding here, but the point I'm trying to make to your original question is there's a smaller percentage of women professional chess players.
I'm asking why. Why won't women play chess?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not
because men and women are fundamentally different and driven by different motives.
All right, guys. So we only have 10 minutes left.
I don't know the answer to that, Tim.
All right, next.
All right, that's basically the end of it. So yeah, that was crazy, man. So I mean, they've done shows like that before. It's very hyperbolic, but they're there just to stir up stuff. It's kind of like a Jerry Springer type thing. So, but yeah, that's man, Myron's cooking on there. We're gonna I'm gonna react a little bit to an after hours show or a clip here. Liberal men aren't real men. So hold on now. This is gonna be the last clip of the day, man. I'm gonna eat a little bit of food because I haven't really eaten at all today. So let's get through this, y'all. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Do you agree or disagree with any of my takes? Because that's the only way that I want people to challenge the stuff that I say, because it's easy for me to just say what I think about things and not get any kind of pushback. So I want to know if people disagree or agree with a lot of stuff that I am covering here. So, and I will be able to formulate some kind of objection or agreement with you. But yeah, let's go with this one.
Real men are not liberal. Let's talk about it. In one of my last videos I said that real men are not liberal. Just the fact that exact statement in that video that I made got so much attention, it just shows that there's some truth to that statement. Obviously, parties do not define whether you're a real man or not, but the party that you affiliate with says a lot about your character and what kind of man you are. Real men lean more traditional because masculinity lies in its original truth, which is purpose and family. And mainstream society hates to hear that, but that is the truth. Conservatism leans more towards hard work and accountability and discipline. A man's man is going to lean more towards traditional values, which conservative parties lean more towards respecting those values. Every party affiliates with different morals and values. Left and right values and morals are completely different and are focused on complete different things. An exact political party doesn't mean that you're a real man, but affiliating and contributing to a specific political party 100% determines what kind of man you are. Real men lean more towards conservative values because those conservative morals and values contribute more towards a man being in his healthy masculinity and contributing to the actual family more so than the liberal morals and values do.
All right. So before they get into it, I just want to say that a lot of people that are on the left that hate conservatism, they hate their talking point stuff. I understand where they're coming from because it's almost because not all people that are conservative are religious. So think about this: if you're agnostic or if you're an atheist and you hear somebody who is religious or in a Christianity or into Christianity or a believer of God, and it's just a lot of people that are evangelistic about their beliefs and stuff try to push it on atheists, and atheists are just annoyed hearing people that talk the gospel and stuff that always quoting scripture. So that's kind of what conservatism is. So I don't like I guess they want to speak out, they want to speak to what is going to bring families together. So but there's a way you can do it to where it's not annoying, and I think a lot of conservatives are being annoying.
So I'm gonna come to Molly. Women are having a little bit of a debate, right? And I didn't play the other video that I had. I don't think it's necessary. Some women are saying, "Oh my God, I can't find a liberal man, a guy that aligns with me from a political party. Where's all of the liberal men at, right? The liberal men that want to really get into a relationship with a woman." And then on the flip side, you got women like her that's basically saying, liberal men basically aren't real men, right? We don't want them. What do you think about this whole conversation about women saying that they can't find a man that aligns with them politically? And then the other side of the conversation where women are saying liberal men aren't really real men.
Yeah, I mean, you see it on dating apps too, man. Like women are just completely writing off like people that are conservative, like or like Trump supporters. Like, if you really talk to a person who is a supporter of Trump, like they're not bad people. Like, I don't understand where people get this. Like, Trump isn't like people that vote for Trump. They're not Trump. There's a lot of things that people that support Trump disagree with him on. So to completely just write somebody off because of their political views is kind of stupid. Like, I think people that say that are online saying that, but they're not doing that in real person because I mean, sir, there are certain red flags that I stay away from, but you need to recognize that in person. If you write somebody off online, you're a freaking idiot because a lot of times people are just playing a character online.
As far as liberal men not being, I'm not gonna say real men. I don't want to say that, but not as masculine as conservative men. I do think that that's true because especially when we were going through the whole Kamala versus Trump political thing before the elections, sorry, before the elections took place on the Q show, we would see like a lot of the ideologies from the more liberal minded men. And it's not, if you're a woman who wants somebody to lead, a liberal man is not. It's just not, he's not it. I feel like liberal men serve too many masters compared to more conservative leaning men because they are more traditional. They do like the more traditional roles in households, in relationship dynamics. And as far as liberal women looking for
Liberal men are a lot more rare than liberal women. I think more and more women are becoming liberal, but like I haven't really run it. Like when a man is liberal, it's really it's it's uh it's hard to identify a lot of times unless you hear him really speak out. But like most men are just really quiet about their political views because they understand the threat of violence. So they understand people are crazy in this world. So if you're liberal, I just don't. I haven't met too many. Maybe a lot of people that are just like center. So I haven't really met any full liberal people. I mean, unless they're part of that the rainbow community.
liberal men. I feel like I don't know how they're not finding them because they're out here. They need to go find them a black man. They're definitely out here. So
I think that most
I
black
don't
men
know
are
about
more liberal.
for sure. Yes, yes. The worst thing you could be is a black man is a conservative black man.
Mm.
You're gonna be a bootlicker, you're gonna be a coon, you're gonna be everything, you're gonna be a sellout. You have to be liberal. So if that
Most the reason why most black people are liberals because they vote for Democrats. Democrats usually give out handouts. So if you're a Republican, you don't really believe in that stuff. So
if that's what they're looking for, they definitely need to go and find them the average 80% of black men. They out there. And they
That's
love them some liberal white women for sure.
You can't say average and then say 80%.
Above average. So that's crazy. They be on dating apps. I don't know how they're not finding these men.
Carrie, what are your thoughts?
I think that it would be difficult to find the type of a man that you would really want. And I hate that I'm generalizing this, but I think it would be difficult to find the kind of man that you would probably really want in a true liberal man. Primarily because I think
Liberal, I don't know if this is true, but I guess you could say the same thing if you are conservative, but I think it's more normal on the liberal side that you believe in 50-50. So this is kind of where she's going. Like I think a man that believes in 50-50 in a relationship is just not he's not a protector or provider. He expects the woman to do the same amount of work as he does, which is quite impossible unless you really find a weak man. But yeah.
what we define as liberal today points heavily in the direction of things having to do with gender, sexuality, things that technically should go against your moral compass. And I think that a more traditional masculine man has more traditional, very defined values. So even if they accept people, they're not afraid to say that they don't agree with that, agree with it. And I think that there are a lot of men who are not willing to say, I disagree with this. I disagree with what liberal represents. And to me, that's yielding. That's yielding on some of the very things that would make up what would make, in my opinion, a man. I don't want to say, like Molly said, I don't want to say not a real man, but a foundationally strong man. So
you wouldn't want to be in a relationship with a man that's liberal, basically.
Not by today's standards of what I think liberal is. No. Because I'm thinking, and I try to not get caught up in Democrat versus Republican, because a lot of the strong men that I had as mentors growing up were Democrats, but they were traditional. Like they were definitely traditional. So I got to say that, and I don't even know if they would have described themselves as liberal back in the day. So yeah, I wouldn't want to.
Hell, that was traditional. I was traditional at a time where I couldn't even afford to be traditional. Now that I can, it's like it makes more sense now. It makes more sense into how to serve a family, because you have to be, if you want a strong family, the man has to be the center or has to be the lead of the household. I mean, there can't be two leaders. Otherwise, it's going to be a catastrophe. So,
Mika?
I think men can only be conservative or feminist. That's it. I don't think that you can't be masculine.
She's sort of right, or she's kind of right, because if you're like somewhere in the middle, like there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies. There's going to be a lot of miscommunication. Like if you're, let's say for instance, if you're making the most money as a man, you're making the most money in the household. Your woman is also working because you believe in 50-50. Do you expect her to work a long hours and come home and clean and cook and all that stuff? Or do you clean and cook? Do you guys like how do you even discuss the gender roles? Like there has to be set gender roles, otherwise there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies, because like what if it's her time to cook but she doesn't want to cook because she's just tired from working? Like that should be your responsibility to work and bring home the money, while she just takes care of the home and the kids if you have kids. So that's why gender roles is always, I'm always going to believe gender roles is the best way to go as far as like making sure a family is taken care of.
And be liberal. That it, to me, it doesn't it doesn't work out the same. It doesn't work out in the same area because you would have to go against what would be
Natural.
what men are supposed to be naturally,
Yes.
right? You're supposed to naturally be leaders. If you're following,
I haven't seen this clip, by the way. I have been watching Anton Daniels and the After Hours for a couple of months now, and I think I missed this. I think this clip was put out around the same time I started watching them. But I never watched the. Here's the thing. I don't know when I started watching them, but I started watching their After Hours when Fresh and Fit were taking a break. So this is how the algorithm works. So when content creators are doing the same type of content in the same time slot, you're competing with them. So when Fresh and Fit dropped off, because I used to watch their After Hours, I don't watch it that much anymore because they do it mostly on Rumble. And there's a reason for that. I mean, I'll still tune in once in a while when they have guests like Alex Stein, but I noticed that when I stopped watching Fresh and Fit on After Hours, that it filled that slot with Anton on their After Hours. So I started watching them. So that's kind of how the algo works, man. Like if one content creator drops off, I'm not saying that Fresh and Fit dropped off. I'm just saying that Anton and the After Hours took that slot basically. So I started watching their After Hours, and they're I mean, these guys are they're pretty entertaining to watch. So I mean, sometimes you can learn, sometimes you can. They're like my news sometimes. Like Anton's very much like a news channel. He really talks on the stuff that's happening now today. So very informative, and I like to just check out the content because he has good takes. So
a group of women or saying, okay, women can lead too. So naturally you're going to fall back and fall into your femininity. Then no, that
James Barber, go to bed, you little goofball.
you can only be conservative and be masculine, or you're going to be a feminist, because otherwise everything you're talking about goes against what you're supposed to be as a man. Like I don't see it any other way.
Kim?
I don't agree with that. I just don't like to box.
I like your shirt, Kim.
Thank you.
Polo is timeless.
I like the way the shirt is on her, but go ahead.
So I don't. I don't like to box people in that way. So, and I just don't think that your masculinity and your, like, I don't think your stance, whether you're liberal or conservative, is indicative of your masculinity. I can see where the chick in the video was going with that, and that makes sense. But I still think that you can have masculine liberals. I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
It's weird. It's funny. Like she's not wrong because nobody's talking. Just think about when you go out into the world. You're not trying to identify people who are conservatives or liberal. When you're out in the world, you're not really talking to people like that. Or you don't. Do you go up to people and ask them if they're like Democrat or Republican? No, nobody does that unless you're on the internet. So, it's just weird. Like social media has screwed up everything, man.
But Kim is like she's like me. She's like a words matter, and like liberal just mean you're open-minded.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
This is generally
Nah, liberal doesn't mean you're open-minded. It just means you're accepting of what everybody else does is okay. Like I don't think that what everybody else in the world is doing is okay, because that can influence your children to do some dumb stuff, as we can see.
refers to the political philosophy that emphasizes individual rights and freedoms. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're not masculine. To me.
Okay.
Do you think a man? Do you think a man?
You can
do
only
you think
be,
a man that'll?
that's why
support-
I said you can only be conservative or feminist, because what would be considered a quote unquote liberal right now is just feminist ideology. There's nothing over there that says masculine. Like absolutely nothing.
Well,
If you're gonna say you're for abortions, okay, that's an issue. That's an issue as a man, as a human being. But if you're for women doing all of the leadership roles, that tells me a lot about you there. Because
Yeah, because a man that looks to a woman to lead in a relationship is kind of a weak man. And that relationship usually doesn't last. Just saying.
why are you following me? You need to have the plan. Why am I coming up with it? That makes absolutely no sense to me. And most of those households are the reason why you have the high divorce rate. Like it's usually liberal households with these high divorce rates. Well, she can do what she wants. So since she can do what she wants, she's divorcing you, she's taking your money, all this stuff. Like there's nothing over there in the liberal sector that screams masculine to me, that screams, I have control, that I'm making the decisions. Because what I'm trying to figure out, what politician can you point to that screams masculine on a liberal side?
I understand what you're saying, right? I'm not negating anything that you're saying. I'm just saying, I just feel like you can be both. You can be masculine and you can be liberal. I'm not here to put a label on somebody's masculinity.
But that's like saying that then the whole argument that we have about femininity. Because if masculinity is fluid like that, then so is femininity. And I don't think
masculinity is not fluid.
I'm sorry?
Masculinity is not fluid.
It's assertive.
Which is my point. So but you're saying that it can be something else, and I'm saying that I don't think you can actually have all of those qualities that quote unquote liberals now today say that they have with what they support, what they're about, their agenda, and be masculine. Because there's nothing in that states masculinity. If a man comes up to me and tell me I'm for abortion rights.
You gonna let me wear the pants around this mug, and I'm gonna tell you what to do.
don't know,
I'm gonna tell you
though,
go wash
dog.
them dishes.
There's a lot of guys that be like, hey, you need to get rid of that baby.
Get rid of that baby. What the fuck? You that masculine as fuck that kid. What you talking about?
There's a lot of guys that are.
Guess what? Killing is masculine. They're killing babies. What's not masculine about a baby?
No.
kid?
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Killing is not masculine. Killing is not masculine. Killing is not masculine. It's immoral.
But if you had to put it somewhere on masculine and feminine,
It's not masculine.
You gonna put it on masculine side?
No, it's not masculine. It's immoral. Killing is not. It's not masculine. There's no masculine or feminine that comes with killing someone. That's not true.
If you're taking up
That's
for your
not
family, you kill
true.
someone
That
in the
is
process.
not
That's
true.
masculine.
That
You
is
kill someone in
not
the
true.
process of taking up for your
That is
family.
not
That's
true.
masculine.
That is not true.
Liberal,
Yo, they be getting into it, man. This is funny, man.
that's
Liberals these
different.
days
That is
leave
not
more
true.
space for indecisiveness, for like, it's whatever. You can do what you want to do. And I just think of a traditional man as very decisive. Even if you disagree, it's like, this is what I believe, this is what it is. That, like, so to me, regardless of if we pick and choose the topic, even with the whole abortion thing, some people, it's not that they're pro-choice, they're pro-life, but they're like, whatever, it's your choice, whatever you want to do. So it's like it's whatever.
I've also noticed like liberals have like very hive minds. Like if one person does something that has a lot of influence, everybody's going to do it. So like I noticed that conservatives are more independent thinkers. Like just because you agree with somebody doesn't mean you have to do the same things that they do. You just you take the information that you've gathered and you use that to an advantage and apply to your life. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of people that I listen to online. Doesn't mean I swear by them. I don't follow them like a cult. But it just seems like liberalism is like Like if everybody gets a tattoo on their forehead, every liberal is gonna do it. Like that's just that's just how I see it. So like everybody who colors their hair blue, there's a lot more people with blue and green, pink hair nowadays. I don't see a whole lot of conservatives doing that.
I think that more traditional men are just
they're going to lead. They're going to
So people who are considered liberal also are people who don't believe in war. You know, it's some guys
Not
they just don't.
necessarily.
Somebody said I'm conflating. Wasn't she? Did she mention traditional or masculine?
Can I finish speaking?
I thought she said
I'm
traditional.
sorry, slip me.
Can I finish speaking?
I see these liberals warmongering like a mug. I'm sorry, but okay.
Well, you cut me off when I was talking.
Can't put everybody.
You wouldn't let me get my shit off, my nigga.
I wasn't on purpose.
Yo, okay, I'm gonna end it there, man. Oh man, I've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, man. I'm tired. I can't. It's only 4. Whoa, it's 4:20. Yeah, so I'm going to. I don't know if I'm going to keep StreamYard or find something else. I like StreamYard, man. I just don't like the price, but we'll find out, man. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about on the next stream I do. I don't know. I want to start talking about more martial arts. I need to find some articles on martial arts, but I'm gonna talk about my new job. I recently started working for Dollar General Fleet as a fresh unload or as a fresh delivery driver. So this is it's very different from the Family Dollar. So I'm gonna talk about that, and that's gonna be fun. But yeah, we're gonna end it there, man. You guys make sure you hit the like, subscribe, wherever you're at, and we're gonna end it there. Peace out.